Welcome to this update video for the Seven Crosses series for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. Now, I want to emphasize at the beginning, there's no actual gameplay in this video. All I'm going to do is talk about my new heavy industry area here. Now, there's two reasons why I'm doing this as a separate short video. The first one is that I'm aware many people don't like this type of video where I'm just talking about what I've planned. And the second reason is simply the fact that if I don't do it now, I won't be able to remember when I have to record the next part what I actually did. So in some ways, this video is also acting as a kind of reference record for me to check when I actually start trying to look at this and work out what the heck I was actually doing. Now, for anyone who hasn't watched the previous video, I'll just talk a little bit about what I planned up in this area, just to give you a general feel for the overall objective of this area, because of course the big industry here is these two steel mills. The way it's going to work is we've got a coal production area here, which is primary purpose is to feed into this area here. I've opted to use trains to deliver the coal to this aggregate unloading here, and then coming in from the left hand side we've got the output of our two iron mines here. This area is not finished yet because I need to get the bulldozers and that in here to do some leveling to put in the aggregate store. And what will happen is the iron ore is going to be brought into here, and the iron ore will go into this aggregate store here. Then I've got 3 iron ore processing plants here, which should produce all the iron I need for not just these 2 steel mills, but also the steel mill in Coalville. Now, if any of you are familiar with the series, the other steel mill in Knife Edge will eventually be decommissioned once this comes online. The output of these 3 ore processings will come into here, which will then be shipped over to the steel mills here. And we've got this aggregate loading here, which will ship the iron to the Coalville plant. And then right at the end of that last video, I added a mechanical components factory here and a warehouse. And what I've done here now is polish this a little bit. I've put in a cargo station, which needs to be connected to here. And this cargo station will have a distribution office associated with it, probably off here actually, but we're going to put, actually I could probably, no, don't do that. I'll do that off camera. And then what that will do is distribute the steel to this open store here, which will be used to distribute across the map. There's also over here I've put in another rail construction yard because I think it makes sense to have it close to the steel output. And to support the rail construction yard, I've put these 2 in here. One which will have a warehouse here, because this will also be used to distribute the mechanical components. And then what we'll have here is what I've got here is an open store, which will be for bricks and prefabs, and well, probably steel as well. So we'll bring the steel from there into here. And I've got a small warehouse here for the electro components. I had a bit of a problem with moving them over to here. I did consider using a forklift route, but I thought, considering the amount of electro components, I think a small distribution office can handle that. And then of course what we got also here is a quarry for the gravel. So eventually, once this is built, we'll be shipping the gravel up from over by Knife Edge as well. This will also be used as a construction source as well, should I need it. There's one thing I did possibly consider is putting a helicopter pickup platform here, but I'm not sure I'm actually going to need that. This place keeps growing more and more and more. Now on the right hand side here, I've got my other heavy industry. I've got my rail production factory here and my vehicle production factory here. And what I've done is I've got a warehouse in the center here connected to both, which will supply the, I can't remember what they are now, the plastics, the electro components, fabric and electronics. So I looked at the production requirements. In fact, probably the easiest way to explain it is if I come all over to my rail construction yard here, which I'm never going to use, but if I show you the blueprints, we look at these. If you look at the amounts of what some of these vehicles actually need, you can see they need only very small amounts of electronics, fabric, plastics. In fact, this one doesn't even use electronics actually. I thought trains used electronics. It was that. And if we come to cargo wagons, you can see these use very small amounts as well. So yeah, it says resources to use to a manufacturer. I'm not exactly sure why. Looks like trains may actually not even use electronics. Interesting. I didn't know that. Is it diesel? Let's have a quick look. I don't want to get, or is it? Maybe it's trams. No, so it looks like electronics isn't actually needed for these vehicles here. Maybe later on that they will get a bit more sophisticated. If we get back over here, so what we're going to do is produce trains here. Now I'm going to be completely honest, I'm not an expert on producing trains, but what I've done is I've put a long train depot here. Now the original configuration didn't have this in here, but what I've got is I had to do is put this link in to get to this train station here. And I've also, because of the sheer number of workers required here, I've put a second train station here. Thank you, game. So this link through here is really to allow the trams to get into here and actually populate the line, and also the construction trains as well, which is the reason why we've got these loops here. These are construction loops to allow the construction trains to get in here and do their job. Well, that's the theory anyway. They should be able to get in and build this. Probably around here would be the best way to do it. So they could come in here, round here, down here, round there, and back up round that way. So that's going to be... So the main way of delivering workers to this area here is going to be these two train stations here. We've got a bus platform here. And one thing I've forgotten over here with respect to this, actually I've just realized that we don't have a bus platform here, but I could put one in while I'm thinking about it. I'll just drop one in about here so it's close enough, like that. I mean, I could put it in there, but I think I'd rather have it as a separate branch. So I need to put that in as well. Now the vehicle production area shares the same warehouse. Now these are two cargo offices, because what I'm going to be doing is using distribution offices to bring the steel and mechanical components into here. And I've kind of looked at the actual advanced buildings here. If you actually look at this, they've got a capacity for 300 steel and 125 tons of mechanical components, which truthfully, I think even for vehicles now, you don't really need that amount. I mean, that would produce a lot of vehicles. It would even produce a lot of trains. Again, apologies for coming back over to here, but I think you'll find that when you come in here, even these trains, see, I mean, got one with 117 tons, 132 tons. Train sets, you see, that's 153. So, and I'll be completely honest, I'm not going to produce vast quantities of trains. So I think what we can do is just use a just-in-time system. That's probably the best way to describe it to this area here. And what I've done is I've hooked out to a vehicle export container here so that we can ship the vehicles across the map. And I've put a vehicle depot in here because one thing we want to be able to do is allocate vehicles from here. I certainly don't want to send them all across the map to be able to do things. I think that covers most of the area here. I've had to resort to bridges across these various lines because it got a bit confusing here. I'm not convinced I actually need this road here because I know that the road passes through here. This is more for completeness because I put a fire station here to be able to provide fire coverage, and I'm kind of toying with the idea of possibly a small fire station on this side as well. Yeah, in fact, I think I will put a small fire station in. Apologies that I'm doing this. 3 vehicles. I wouldn't mind 4. Let me just see. I don't want to put a really big one in here. That's got 8 vehicles. Don't I have anything that's got 3? I suppose I could put 3 in here. That should be more than enough for this area here. just put a small fire station in there as well. And then what that would do is provide a high level of fire coverage on this side. This one will provide coverage from this side. And we've got this fire station here, which should come out into this area. And I think that will provide more than enough cover for my area. And of course, what the other thing I'm going to need to do in here is put something like distribution offices. We're going to need a technical services mainly in this area to ensure that this is all kept clear of snow. I think that covers the main heavy industry area. Just kind of turn it around a little bit and show you what I've done around here is I've put in when I was putting in the power supply, I realized that I've got this fire station that's out here a bit, which I think was originally intended to cover this area, but I don't think it's really going to work. So what we may have to do is put a dedicated fire station out here. I'm still going to leave this here because what's going to happen is that we're going to expand the town out here because we're going to need a lot of workers in this area. So this town here, probably by the time it's finished, will be up in the range of about a population of about 10,000. So we're probably going to expand out a little bit here, which is the reason why I've put this here and these roads here. But of course we need to make sure people can get to this area here. I think that is it for the overview. So this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.